Well, that's life.
That's right.
That is life.
So,
let's make sure I'm recording the right mic here.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Great. Good.
Excellent. So 2 out of the 3 of us have played Diablo Immortal. Really? Yeah.
I am not the third. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. You really, truly, genuinely don't have to play this game.
No, not at all. No.
I've heard some real fucking shit about it.
Well, you know what? Let's not waste any fucking time. Boys, let's get right into it. This is Press X to Podcast, and I'm here to bitch about Diablo Immortal, and maybe other video games will come up. But for a minute, let's get into Diablo Immortal.
Welcome to the Immortal Cast.
Yeah, welcome to the Immortal Cast. So here's the scoop. I scored this a 50 because it's half of a decent game, right? You play through the first little bit of it, the first 30 levels, and it gets a little grindy, and you play through to 60, and then you finish like the main, like the main story, like you do in any other Diablo game. Then you turn it off and uninstall it because the end game is actually evil. Like even for a free to play game, it's pretty evil. Like so evil it feels like if you were writing this as a B plot in a TV show, they would scrap it. They would say, "No, fuck you. That's too unrealistic. No one would ever believe that a gaming company would do something this fucking despicable." Unless the show was like a slapstick comedy and it's like a cutaway gag to this like soul-sucking bog of a fucking video game, right? At some point before release, during the many, many months of terrible PR, they claimed that no one would ever have to do any like in-app purchase IAP shit for gear. Like you'd never have to do that. You could just max out your gear through regular playing.
Mm-hmm.
What they did was they wrote themselves a little loophole where legendary gems don't count as gear. So they're not subject to that same promise.
Okay.
And there is literally no way to get 5-star legendary gems without feeding into some very serious gacha bullshit.
Fuck.
Like, they did the math. Some people did some deep dives. And if you don't want to spend money, you probably only have to play for like 10 years. If you do spend the money, you could have to spend, worst case scenario, $110,000 to max out a character and all the gems in that character. Yeah. So what you do is you do your rifts and you boost those rifts with crests, and you get like a handful of rare crests every month and like 2 or 3 legendary crests. And the legendary crests are the only way you can get even a chance at like a 5-star gem, because there's like that pity pull kind of thing that gacha games will do, where if you do enough high level spins, like, oh fuck, we have to take pity on you and just hand you this thing anyways. You've invested so much of your time and money in this. And like, it's based on those numbers with these incredibly rare and difficult to acquire legendary quests. Because one of the 3 currencies you can invest in is fucking impossible to get through normal play. You just have to buy it. And this is the currency you use to get all of the boosts and shit, and all of the like 5-star experience boosts. Because you can't just like buy fucking gems. You're buying the chance at gems through dungeon runs and stuff. It's really cruel.
Some might even say immoral. Diablo Immoral.
It was a short walk, but it was to a good spot, buddy. You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remove that T from Immortal and you're there.
That's
Couldn't
right.
agree more though. It's if like fun through the first 60 levels, and then I mean fun, it's Diablo 3.5.
Yeah,
It looks like Diablo 3, plays like Diablo 3.
it sucks because it's like there's a there's the mechanics, the bones of a decent game in there because like you can just kind of run quests, you can play as much as you damn well please. There's no like timers. You're like, oh, I can't do another run because I have to wait for some bullshit.
Yeah.
You can just go in and fight monsters and kill shit as much as you want. But everything about the game is designed to funnel you towards those fucking IAPs, and they're not cheap. Like I said, there's so much goddamn money and so much grief just to get to this point where you can have a chance at maybe, possibly getting the cool shit.
Didn't EA get like really, really slammed in the EU for that with Battlefront 3?
Yes, there are two countries, the Belgium and Dutch markets will not sell Diablo Immortal because it violates their loot box laws. And they've gone on wax, Activision Blizzard, being like, "Oh, but this is really just the fault of these lawmakers, and there's just like they just don't understand. These are harmless side purchases." Like, no, this is gambling. It's the slot machines for children with access to their parents' credit cards. You mustache twirling shitbirds. Yeah.
So to be clear, though, you can complete the game without buying shit.
Yes, you can go through the main story without purchasing a single fucking thing, but this is not why anyone plays Diablo who's ever played a Diablo game before. It's fucking insidious because it's like, remember that amazing, fun, cool loot grind that you would do in every other game, and it was rad, and it was, it was kind of a grind, but you could just like put in the work and do it within a reasonable amount of time. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
No, not even a little bit. Not even the tiniest fucking bit. And even before you get to 60, once you get past 30, the amount of experience you get for individual encounters and quests and shit like that dramatically drops off a cliff. Like, we're talking like a 30-40% precipitous fall in return on investment in terms of like time and like quests and rifts and shit. Because they want you to pick up the big 800% experience boosters. Because the first one you get is like $1.29 Canadian. I've heard that you have to actually log in every day or else it disappears like a puff of fucking smoke. But can't confirm because, of course, I didn't spend any money on this piece of shit. So I'll never know.
Wow.
I mean, I might play a bit of Diablo 3 if I want that magic, if I want that good, right? But I'm not gonna fucking dip my toe back in that cesspool. Like, forget that shit.
They are making Diablo 4, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And
Okay.
some fans are concerned that maybe their way will be lost so much by the time they get there that we're gonna see, the auction house come back for D4, which...
Oh, we're looking at Diablo NFTs. Mark my fucking words.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy.
Unless the developers, the Blizzard side, kind of like see the massive tidal wave of negativity that comes from the release of this game where they're like, hey, guess what? When you showed this to us in 2018, we thought it was going to be a piece of shit. And we were right. It's crazy. We predicted exactly. We're all Nostradamus over here. It turns out that our fears of you making a exploitative piece of shit were all well founded, and maybe don't do us so dirty the next time you decide to fucking make another game in this series. Like, maybe make Diablo 4 good, right? Huh? Crazy shit. Or here's my prediction. Diablo 4 is going to be another Overwatch 2. where you can tell that it's two different games, but only with like a microscope. You know? Only with like a really fine tooth comb.
Possible.
Yeah. I'm getting some flippy dippies in my video feed here. Oh well. That cuts out.
It's real trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can fuck with some things, but I feel like that might do some serious damage to the audio setup.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Yeah, I'll just flicker like a fluorescent light in a 7th grade classroom. It's fine.
It's like your sanity flickering as you teeter on the edge of having to buy legendary gems in Diablo Immortal. But luckily, thankfully, you saw the light and tapped to delete.
Yeah, I'd rather fillet a cactus. Thanks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So that sucks. Did anybody play anything good?
Rhett?
I've been farting around with this Madden 23 beta, and
Madden 22.1, hey?
yeah, you know, it's. I mean, I don't have much experience with the past few years of these games, so I don't have much to compare it to. But yeah, from the little bit that I've played, I don't think any non-believer is going to be converted with this one. It's
yet another football
Madden.
game.
Yeah.
In a string of quote unquote football games.
Yeah. They did announce John Madden to be gracing the cover this year, so that's
nice.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way he's going to win the Super Bowl then.
No, he's not going to win the Super Bowl. Hopefully he's a playable character though. Something.
Oh man.
Right?
I want a whole team of Maddens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Madden at center, Madden taking the punts.
Yeah.
Madden at wide receiver. I can't wait.
Yeah. Madden cooking. Madden is the water boy on the sidelines. He's Bobby Boucher. But yeah,
Madden shovels it to Madden, and Madden can't believe it.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Impressions will be coming on Madden. But again, if you've played 22, I'm sure you'll know what's coming with 23.
I have not been playing anything because...
No kidding.
Yeah. My life is in boxes. We're only barely recording this podcast right now. It's real bootstrap right now, but hoping to actually play some things someday.
Yeah.
Someday soon.
I'm excited for you to play stuff again.
I'm sure there's an incredible number of things that I need to download off Game Pass.
Just a couple, yeah.
Okay.
I as a fun little aside, briefly, I did start playing Umurangi Generation finally. It's a 2020 game about taking pictures. It's cool and stylish, and the movement controls are great unless you have to like jump anywhere, and then it's like a 60-40 chance. You're like, oh, it'll take, or it won't. But like the consequences are not particularly dire, anyways, because you're literally just wandering around this cool little vista, taking photos and figuring out the backstory based on what you see around you. Yeah, things aren't going great for like planet Earth and the human race, it turns out. But like, you really would not know that from the screenshots of the game. Like, it doesn't give that away in any way. It's just like, oh, yeah, why's the UN got to be here? Why do they have a military presence in this place? What's going on, guys? Yeah, that's a cool little aside.
I've heard great things about that game. Never played it, but
yeah,
it's that a
Yeah.
Game Pass joint, or is that just
Yeah,
something you
that's
picked
a
up
Game
on
Pass
Steam?
joint. Just a quick little
Oh,
jaunt.
dang it.
Yeah. It's on other stuff. You can get it on Steam. Like, that's
Yeah,
what I
I
first saw.
know, but you know, if you can play it for quote unquote free, that's the way to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Tell you what I did put some time into. It was the new Mario Strikers game,
Okay.
which I believe the review for it went live this morning. Battle League. It's soccer, but like they call it strike for some reason. I think you use your hands like 5% more often. Also, there's power-ups, and it's kind of like a combination of like Mario Kart and Smash Brothers and soccer. Because you get like the smash ball that comes down from the sky, and then somebody grabs it on your team, and then you can make the hyper strike and just like let one loose that if you time it perfectly can just blow past the goalie or like hypnotize him into chucking the ball in the net himself, or you know, putting craters in the field. It's good shit. And you get the great animations with all of them. You I didn't really touch on this in my review, but I find it kind of interesting that the uh the development is of course by a different company. And you can kind of tell because the characters don't behave quite like they would in a Nintendo game. It's like a tiny little multiverse deviation, but like Princess Peach does a lot of like backflips and shit and like showboating, which I'm not, you know, I don't automatically associate with her as a character. Although Wario's pretty much on point. Like he butt slams the ball for his super move and then it sort of rockets into the goal. But like other people, it's like, huh, you almost have like an actual personality a little bit. Just like a glimpse, right? But interesting.
Yeah.
Nintendo really does have the most one-dimensional characters in all of video games. And somehow that works.
Yeah, it's so everybody can identify with them. Yeah.
You pick the one that you're closest to this tiny speck of personality and just identify with that for the rest of your adult life.
I really wish Daisy was in this game because she is kind of my favorite of the princesses. Just because in all the games she's in, she's got the most like spunky personality where she's like, ha ha, yeah, yeah, let's do this thing, whatever it may be. Yeah. And you're like, oh, all right, sick. I'm down. Let's go. But like everybody else is just like regal and like kind of aloof. And she's like, I don't know. She's one of the she's the princess that might have like smoked in high school. I don't know. It's great. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, because I always thought Toad was a drug dealer. So maybe Toad was selling to her. I don't know.
Toad's
Yeah.
just shaving off pieces of his head to sell to his
That's
classmates.
exactly. He's selling magic mushrooms and shit. Yeah.
If they did do that, you would expect that when it grew back, it would kind of go lumpy and uneven. It's like when you give yourself a fucked up haircut and even when it grows back, it's not the same. So Toad will like shave off pieces of his head and you can tell he's been dealing because it's coming off like a fucking octagon instead of the proper circle. It's like, see me after class, Toad.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Arrest me, narc?
Yeah.
Sadly, he can
Sweet.
never get high in his own supply, but
He's immune to his own mushrooms.
Tragic.
That game does sound fun, though. Your description makes me think of Windjammers,
yeah.
but more like soccer.
Yeah. I never really got the hang of like switching between teammates. Cause a lot of times what would happen is it would get sent off to my end and I'd have to run defense. So I'd try to get control to the person that was closest to the ball in time, but I could never fucking do it fast enough because then like they'd get there and then the asshole would kick it because you can tackle them if you get there on time. But like the only time you can land a tackle is when they're in that giant wind up for a hyper strike. Because like everything slows down, and if you get there in time, you can watch your guy in slow motion like dive into the other person and like fuck up their hyper strike, and then they'll like lose the power up altogether. It's great. Also, they can do it to you, which is less cool, but you know, fair.
I guess if there has to be a give and take, that's all right. Sweet. That's a completely new game. That's not a remaster of some old GameCube game or something.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's just the next one in the series.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Have they done a Mario Tennis on Switch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
Aces.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're fresh out of sports because they did golf, they did tennis, they did soccer. That's it. That's the only things that Mario and friends can play. And that's just the way it is.
They should do
Beach volleyball.
I was gonna say MMA, but yes, that's also a very good suggestion.
Beach volleyball, but none of the fellas are invited to that game. That one definitely Daisy will show up. Peach will get Rosalina, of course. You know.
No. Listen, equal opportunity. Wario has to show up in a Speedo. You understand, right?
Yeah, well, he's in a Speedo, but he's the ref. Then he's not playing. He's the referee.
You don't want to see him do like a big swinging spike with like his man boobs kind of like slow motion wiggle biggling.
Maybe that'll be somebody's special move. They call Wario in, and he's like, "Okay, Peach, if you need a man to do this, I'll come in." And he climbs down from his post. He hobbles down with his fucking glistening. Yeah.
Because it can't be just the ladies, because there's like 4 of them, dude. There's 4 of them. There's Pauline, there's Peach, there's Daisy, and there's Rosalina.
And then you got baby Paulina, baby Peach, baby Rosalina. Or, yeah.
Hardest conceivable pass, thanks. I'm good.
You get Bowsette in there.
Bowsette, yeah. Oh, yeah, and you've got, what's the Dodo?
Yeah.
Birdo.
Birdo. Yeah, Birdo
also,
can
they
get in
can't.
there? Oh, man.
They can't make Bowsette canon. They simply can't. There's just no way. The fan art of that non-existent character is already so prolific.
It's like Sonic the Hedgehog levels.
Yeah, because you could just put that crown on any character in Mario, and then they turn into an extremely fuckable woman, right?
Wait, what?
There's Bowsette, there's Bouette, there's Chompette.
What?
Yes, buddy, you gotta do your homework, man. The people figured out that the crown makes you into a hot girl, and they just slapped it on every goddamn character. There's one for like Bullet Bill. There's one for the Piranha Plant. I feel like I've seen a Goomba, but I can't confirm. But Boo is definitely. There's a lot of fan art of Bouette.
Oh, there's already a Lady Goomba in Mario Odyssey.
So there you go.
She's wearing like she's wearing like a fancy lady outfit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
But for fan art purposes, I think they're looking for a more, let's say, marketable version of the character.
Well, Rhett, fire up the old VPN and get searching, bud. So you can dig up on Bouette and Chompette.
Yeah,
Chompette. Yeah.
If you can think of a character that put the super crown on, somebody has drawn it, and somebody's drawn it doing something fucking unspeakable.
Nice. If I had to think of one right off the top of my head, you know the wizard, if he floats around, he can cast magic spells.
Yeah. Like,
comic. Yeah. Hell yes. I'm on board. Yes, it's a perfect intersection of like wizards and ladies in wizard clothes. I'm down. I'm totally down.
You could do some good things with a Lakitu as well, using the cloud in creative ways.
Yeah,
That's right.
Easily.
That's right.
Listen, we got a business here, guys.
Mm.
If you want to just destroy this audio and just go into business together, I'm down with that.
I mean, I think the work, it pretty much does itself. So, yeah.
Yeah, and again, I feel like somebody from Nintendo actually had to come out and say Bowsette is not canon because they were so overwhelmed with the horrifying fan art.
Just you wait at the next Nintendo Direct. Doug Bowser is going to walk out wearing the crown and claim that he's now Doug Bowsette.
I would support that for him. I would support him on that journey.
Totally. He'll be hailed as a hero.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Or her, I guess, if the pronouns go that way, right? You know.
Right.
Yeah, use it as a platform to launch Bowsette into the stratosphere as a character.
Wow,
Yeah.
Bowser. Wow. Talk about news. Or just shake Nintendo to its core.
Reggie shows up for some reason.
He couldn't miss it. He couldn't miss this event.
He has that famous quote of his, "My body is ready," suddenly takes on a whole very different context.
He's been ready for a long time.
Yeah, he is so fucking ready.
What's Reggie up to anyway?
He was on GameStop's board of directors, and I think he bailed because they were making a bunch of chump moves, and he wasn't fucking with that. I think he was like doing some like educational trust or something, but I don't know. He could just be like taking a gap year. I don't know. He can basically do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
He could become a professional podcast guest if he wanted to.
I think he fucking saw the writing on the wall, cashed out when the stock was fucking through the roof. And yeah, he's probably in Panama right now on a beach, sipping a margarita.
I love that for him.
Yeah, me too.
Any other games we want to talk about, or should we get into some news?
I don't think I've talked about Soldiers yet. I was looking through the doc, and I don't think I have. It's
Really? I think we may have.
You did? We did? Did we talk about Soldiers? Yes, you know what? I think we did. High quality
It's a Metroid-y.
pixel.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Just wasn't in the doc for some reason. Just look at me not even doing the records right. But yeah, we got some news. Some of it we've already talked about, which is that
Wow.
Diablo Immortal $110,000 was the amount that somebody looked up. The article I linked to has some more breakdowns of like why and how the gacha mechanics are so unspeakably cruel. But yeah, it sucks. That sucks, and it sucks for them. I hope they learn a lesson from it.
I don't think they will.
No,
They've not learned any lessons up to this point.
no.
But maybe. Let's hold out hope. The thinnest sliver of hope. Elsewhere, there was a pretty substantial Sony state of play.
There was.
With Street Fighter 6.
Yes. It looks like it's got some sort of like single player campaign, like an open world sort of thing. Like they're really putting the street back in Street Fighter. A lot of the character designs that we've seen so far look pretty cool. I really like the idea of like moving around this beautiful world they've been building for like 3 games now.
Yeah, I really like the sort of paint splash vibe. You know, it's very colorful. It's a big departure from what they've done in the past. I kind of 6 is twice 3. So maybe they're doing another Street Fighter 3. We're going off in our own direction sort of thing.
Yeah. Another big arty one, which I'm down with. Ryu rocking that beard, getting the zaddy look going. Good for him, buddy.
Uh-huh.
Everybody else looks pretty cool. At least what I've seen so far. I think there's like the character you're controlling in the single player that they were using, the avatar, or whatever. That was pretty dope. Street Fighter is one of those games that's like never really on my radar in terms of like conversation, but I like most of them, and I've put at least some time into a lot of Street Fighter games in my life. It's like one of the only fighting game franchises I have anything approaching skill in. Yeah.
It has such a high ceiling in skill level, but I think Street Fighter is one of the more approachable fighting games in general. If you have no idea what you're doing, it's pretty easy to learn how to do a fireball.
Well, it's going to be even easier with 6 because apparently things like the Hadoken you're going to be able to do with the press of a button. Yeah, 6 going to be a lot more accessible. Also, apparently earlier in the week, the full roster leaked. And Capcom said that, yeah, we've, or you've rather, seen some stuff that you shouldn't have. So I'm just going to quickly fire off the names from the roster that was leaked. Marissa, Mimi, Lily, JP, Kimberly, Aki, sorry, Dolisum, Ken, Zangief, E Honda, Blanca, Guile, Cammy, DJ, Rashid, Yuri, Ed, Akuma. It sounds pretty standard.
Yeah. Yeah.
With obviously an emphasis on this Luke character. I think in 5 they were kind of building towards Luke being more of a mainstay in the series moving forward. And yeah, it looks like that's definitely the case here. If we're not like, it kind of seemed like we would be creating our own fighter and taking them through that open world.
That would be rad.
Right?
If it was the case, I'd be totally down with that.
Yeah.
Because I love a fucking character creator. I love making a little goblin or a beautiful homunculi that I can fucking parade around and upend the natural balance of God and physics and government and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you need to do what the governmentally sanctioned method with sliders, which is to alternate which direction you go, and you go as far as they go. And you just keep doing that back and forth until you come up with a true masterpiece. See just how far those polygons will deform. And the answer is usually pretty damn far.
That's a fun thing you can do. When I made my second dude in Elden Ring, because there's a button you can do on the face where it's just like similar face, and you just hammer that button 1,000 times, and then what you have in the screen slowly turns into a like leering, twisted, bug-eyed, hook-nosed, like fucky-mouthed goblin that you can just like use as a base template, and you turn it into something that you can never take the helmet off of because people's eyes will start to smoke when they see the fucking thing. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, I do love a good character creator. What else was on that state of play? I feel like there was a lot of things. The Resident Evil 4 remake, for one.
Yeah,
that looks
so
dope.
Good. So good.
Pretty dope.
I was a bit worried about that because that game has such a unique vibe about it, and it's so, even to this day, still so artistically unique from the rest of the series and from pretty much any other game. But I feel like they hit the vibe.
Yeah, I think they captured the specific ambience. We also got a trailer for Final Fantasy 16 and the release window of summer 2023, which is the responsible thing to do, because earlier the president of the dev team was talking some shit like they were almost done in the heaviest conceivable air quotes. And I was like, you can't say something like that. You're going to get into people's fucking brains. And now they come out with this next trailer and it's like, yeah, see you guys in a year. Good. Come back with something finished in 12 calendar months. We could revisit, right? Like, but it looks, again, like a traditional, old school fantasy, and putting the fantasy and Final Fantasy kind of thing with like this. It's like, it reminds me of 8, where like the summons are an integral part of the story, and like either they're taking human form or they have avatars, and like they're battling one another, like talking about like Ifrit and like everybody else, like getting into these crazy god style power battles and like other kingdoms getting dragged into it. It sounds rad as shit. I'm super down.
Yeah, I'm really curious about the story and the world that they're building. I think that seems pretty interesting and a big enough departure from the usual sort of tech fantasy stuff that they've been doing for forever. How do you feel about the combat, though?
Oh, well, I don't know shit about it. I assume, based on the quick glimpses I've seen, that it's just going to be like an extension of like 7 Remake and stuff, right? Like, am I wrong? Is there other crazy shit happening?
I don't know. But just watching that trailer, even in the those quick snippets, it's a lot. Like, there's a fucking lot going on. There's numbers all over the screen, and there's particle effects all over the screen. If every battle is like that, it's going to be pretty tiring mentally, I think.
I think we probably got a slice of like some of the most intense the battles get for the trailer.
Maybe.
Like, at least in like the top 30% of like what they're like. You know what I mean? Like, I think you'll probably get some battles where it's just like, da, 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 do the sword, use the sword, guy's dead, falls in half, whatever. Repeat ad nauseum. It's fine. Because like, it's also possible that it might not be like Final Fantasy 13, where every battle was kind of a struggle, and like you were worn like to the bone, to the nub, trying to like get through these fucking guided corridors because you couldn't like level grind or anything, and you would just get to a battle, but like, you better be smart enough to get through this or else you're fuckoed. And I feel like people will not like that, but I think there was enough backlash to 13 when it came out that they were like, well, people don't do that kind of battle system anymore.
I did read somewhere that the team making this is the same is the 14 team.
Mm-hmm. Which is good, because that means it's going to come out when they say it is.
Yeah.
Because they've been forged in the fires of an MMO for years now. So they're they have some idea of expectations and delivery and working within an engine and like expanding on it. You know what I mean? Like their team is some pedigree. This isn't like Nomura and his fucking nightmare scope creep where it's like, no, I'm going to do the biggest, craziest things ever. I'll see you in fucking 9 years. I'm like, no, dude, no, stop all that shit.
Yeah. We'll see what it's all about. 14. I don't know this personally, but I've heard that it has some of the best storytelling in the series if you're willing to get through the base game and get to the expansions. I haven't done that. But if they can bring that to a more accessible place, do some cool things with the combat, have Ifrit and Shiva fight each other on top of a mountain. Yeah, okay. See you next summer.
Yeah.
I did think the game looked quite a bit better than the last time they showed it.
Yeah.
It looked pretty rough before, but they've got some effects. They've got some lighting now.
So, did you guys watch any of the gameplay for Sonic Frontiers?
Yes.
Yeah. Watch that. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like a fan game. Looks like somebody went into Unreal Engine 5. We're like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make this really awesome Sonic model, and we're gonna plop it in this very high quality asset pack, and they're just gonna kind of run around, and it was like the emptiest, loneliest fucking thing. Like, just like there's these towers, and we'll never show you a single enemy, but ooh, here you are,
You can
exploring
go
this
up
big
there.
crazy world. Yeah, it's like, oh, buddy, nobody cares.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work because so much of the Sonic games depends on the levels being linear. You're supposed to go fast, so you're supposed to be guided into a way that you can go fast. But if you've got this open world, there's no way you can design it so that it has multiple angles of attack, and wherever you're coming from, you have options to go fast and, jump off of springy things and hit boost pads in the right direction. I don't know.
I saw a couple glimpses of whatever the opposite of polish is. In the minutia, in the folds, in the seams, in some of these shots where it was like, I think that if they believe this is coming out later this year, it better not be. Because if they like push this for like a holiday 2022 release, I'm telling you right now, the Switch version is going to be fucking unplayable.
Oh my god,
I'm
there's a
calling it.
Switch version?
Yeah.
You know there's gonna be.
Oh fuck.
They're gonna cram Unreal Engine 5 or whatever this is onto the Switch, and it's gonna be like black oily smoke coming out of the fucking memory card slot within the first hour. Kids are gonna get like chemical burns because something's gonna start leaking out of the fucking back corner. But like,
Why would you do such a thing? It can't even handle, what was that game that played like absolute shit that you reviewed, Rhett? Like Outer Worlds,
All of
I
them.
think.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Outer Worlds, yeah, that one played like shit. Crisis. Crisis I thought was garbage. Witcher I thought was garbage.
How do they think that this, which looks to be quite a cutting edge game graphically, has any hope on the Switch?
listen, cards on the table. I haven't like seen their proposed console release list, but because Sonic the Hedgehog is a children's family-friendly property with huge marketing potential and a very specific targeted age demographic, they're probably going to push for this fucking thing to be on the Switch. And they shouldn't.
So that means we probably aren't going to get that Sonic Beach volleyball I've been holding out for, eh? With all of them.
The good news is, Rhett, this is another place where fan games and fan art can carry you the rest of the way. See,
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that where Nintendo keeps a tight iron gauntlet, a mailed fist on their IP, Sega, they're not. The security detail around the facility isn't quite as exhaustive. So, like, there's a lot of crazy 3D fan games out there. Some are, pretty wholesome. Some are the Sonic Dreams collection. Some are, maybe a little hoardier than you're thinking. What I'm saying, Rhett, is even if your Sonic Beach Volleyball doesn't exist, you could probably recruit 3 talented teenagers to make the fucking thing.
That's a good point. It's a very
There's
good
also the opportunity for Sonic and friends to make it into the Nintendo Beach Volleyball game. They've teamed up for the Olympics in the past.
Yeah.
Who's to say they couldn't, rub on a little bit of tanning oil and hit the beach?
Yes. Yes. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. DK and they can all. Yeah.
So here's a piece of news that I didn't write down, but I heard about today, and I don't know if it's true, but I heard that the new Kojima game got leaked.
It's leak season, baby. It's leakers Christmas. It could be true. You never know. But like, it would make sense because he got the greasy shaft when it comes to PT, right? So like, he didn't get to do that project.
Yeah,
Now
it is. It is in fact a horror game.
Is this the Xbox one?
I think it must be.
Yeah. Okay.
Overdose, overload,
Overdose. Yep.
Yeah.
And we know that probably it's true because he asked quite politely if the person who leaked it would please take the article down, to which they said, "Go fuck your hat." And he said, "Okay."
Interesting.
Huh.
Interesting. I'm just glancing through the article right now. I didn't hear about this. I just have the jump scare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a character crossing over from Death Stranding, but the game is not Death Stranding.
Oh, it's just the rumor is it's the actor.
Ah, okay.
So,
which would make sense. He loves to work with the same crew for as long as possible. Like Norman Reedus. I would imagine Norman Reedus is going to be in the next several games of his.
Yeah.
Of the actors to pick to pull forward into game after game after game,
Reedus?
Not sure Norman was the man.
No?
No. I think Kojima just really wanted a semi-charming everyman, like somebody who can like really fill the shoes for like a lot of people. White people though, because he's a little obsessed with Western culture, which is fine. It's heavily informed his work, and that's great. Lots of white people are obsessed with Japanese culture. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mads Mikkelsen. He did have Mads Mikkelsen though in Death Stranding, so kudos there.
He did. He had some strong acting there. Like Margaret Qualley was in there too.
Yeah. So here's hoping it's true. Could really do with a crazy horror game from Kojima. That sounds amazing. You know.
I think there's at least a decent chance that it's at the Xbox showcase.
Is there a decent chance that David Hayter will be a part of the cast?
No.
0.
You keep asking for it, so I just have to shoot it down. That's the rule. If you really badly want something in this industry, they'll listen and never do it.
Yeah. But let's put it this way. I think Hayter's stock has descended to a level where we could probably get him as a podcast guest.
I think so.
Once he hears about our shaving kit endorsement deals, it's gonna be all about
get him on the show.
We'll get you a Harry's.
Yeah, we'll have that shit shipped right to your door, Doc. Like, it'll be cool.
Any other news that people heard about? I feel like there should be a lot of stuff to talk about, being that it's not E3 season.
Oh yeah, no, there's been tons of announcements. A lot of crazy shit coming down the pipes. But nothing I was super concerned about. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean there's stuff, but I haven't seen anything that I'm like, yeah, that.
Just doing a quick breath. No. Only piece of news that stuck out to me was that Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 might be getting their next gen upgrades anytime now. Yeah.
Also, RE Village in VR.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'll be sweet. That would be very, very cool.
Oh, that Calypso Protocol, Callisto Protocol,
Yes.
the Dead Space guys game. That looked really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it looked a lot like Dead Space. As the trailer was playing, I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this must be that Dead Space remake that's coming out." But oh, it's all new and it looks pretty sweet.
And coming out this year.
This
Oh my
year,
god, a game
the,
that's coming out in 2022.
yeah, yeah, we'll see.
Hey, so far, you know,
Yeah, I won't be surprised if and when that gets delayed to summer 2023.
Yeah.
no, Rhett, listen. We know what's going to happen. There's going to be a single month in the spring, possibly February of 2023, that every game will sort of like helplessly gravitate towards like a magnet malfunction, and then we're just going to have to like, I don't know, take out a fucking business loan just to cover everything that drops in that month. It's going to be a whole thing.
Perfect.
I wish I would have known how thin the following 3 to 4 months were going to be so that I could have, not played some stuff in February, in March.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
That's right.
Yeah. What do y'all have coming up in the next little bit here?
I'm gonna probably be playing some more Switch games. There's the Fire Emblem Musu game. That'll be good
yeah.
because sometimes those games are great. Like the Zelda one ruled, so maybe this next one will also be amazing. It's like a big complicated story with tons of characters, most of whom I've forgotten, so it'll be very refreshing to see these people again. And then at some point this summer, Live Alive is coming out. That's on my
really?
radar.
That
Like
shit looks
July?
so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Nice. Is
Just
that a remake or is it?
Yeah, it's a game that never came to the Western shores before. It's like a 2D
Yeah.
HD remake, so like Octopath Traveler.
Oh.
It's kind of like a Sega Frontier game, only instead of like 8 fantasy tropes, it's 8 random motherfuckers, like just like complete grab bag from the bottom of the toy bin fucking characters. They're just like, we're gonna tell all these crazy, completely unrelated stories, and they're gonna connect somehow. Yeah.
And it's
So-
absolutely gorgeous. I can't
Yes.
get enough of this art style on the Switch. I
Looks so good.
fuck, it's just beautiful.
Let's all just hope and pray that the accent of the hunters from Octopath Traveler somehow makes it into this game.
Mm.
Implausible.
See the rage on your. I could see the
Yeah,
rage on
yeah.
your face, James.
It's so they had to work so hard to make it sound that bad. Like
Yes, they did.
it's like if I unprompted, if somebody came up to me like a man in the street style interview and were like, quick, make something sound like Shakespeare times right now, no prep time, I could probably pull something out of my ass that sounded better than that fucking dialect.
And that means it's going to be in.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Something.
Yeah. There has to be, because it's a Square Enix game, one of the person's voices in English has to be just fucking insufferable. It's like when Bravely Default 2, there was the one, he had like a Scottish or an Irish accent or something, and like it was like a hurtful caricature. Like they really were like, man, fuck these guys, fuck all of them. We're gonna make this voice sound like they're a bunch of fucking weirdos, It's just like really like a really like a hurtful stereotype that it just wanted to give a voice role to. And they're like, there, man, there, look at that. Yeah. And I'm like, you fucking guys.
You've done it again.
I think it was supposed to be Scottish. It was pretty offensive.
Oh. Yeah, there's nothing quite like getting voice actors to perform in that, like, that style that Japanese games often have English actors portray, and then getting them to tack a dialect on top of that.
Pretty mean.
Yeah. What else is there to say?
Don't buy Diablo Immortal, or rather, don't install Diablo Immortal. And if you do, don't spend any money on it. Yeah.
Download it and delete it without playing it. Just show them who's boss.
Yeah, another thing that's fucked up with that game is that, so of course, halfway, 3/4 of the way through the development cycle, they were like, they dropped the announcement, oh yeah, this is actually going to come to PC. Get ready, folks. You're going to be able to fucking do cross progression, and it'll just be great. The PC version of the game shouldn't have been released. It's completely broken. To the point where, like, as something as basic as plugging a controller in and trying to play it with that, you can get you can get 2 buttons to work on the triggers. You can get your 2 triggers to work, but other than that, nothing works. It's fucked. It's completely fucked. So, yeah, just don't play it.
Pretty well.
Just don't play it, folks. That's our motto here on the Video Game Podcast, Press X to Podcast. Just don't play it. Unless you want to, but in that case, don't pay money. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
Unless you want to, then in that case, just be prepared to spend a lot.
And if you want to do that, maybe, like, therapy? Yeah.
Do a quick double take. Take a long, hard look in the mirror.
What they used to call a sober second look. Yeah.
Just wait for Diablo Sober Second Look. It's coming to PC and phones next year.
Yeah, that's right.
The Sober Second Look DLC. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening and or watching, even though you can't see our faces this time. Sorry about that.
That's right.
But we'll be back. Probably with more announcements and good stuff to cover. So we hope you will join us for that. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.